Hey everyone, so this week Kia USA sent me the all-new Kia Telluride. Now I have actually reviewed this vehicle before, and it is actually, thanks to you guys, the second highest viewed Telluride review on YouTube. It's right behind Doug DeMuro, so that's a super cool accomplishment. So what's gonna make this video different than that video? Well, first of all, this one's gonna be a little bit shorter, and it's basically going to be just about my week with the Telluride. I have it for 7 days, so I get to live with it. I get to drive it on roads I'm familiar with. I'm not 6,000 feet above sea level like I was in that video because we were actually in Telluride, Colorado. I'm closer to sea level here in Fort Worth, Texas, and we're just gonna see what this thing is really like to live with. Let's go ahead and check it out. All right, so checking out the Kia Telluride. So this color is called Dark Moss, and the MSRP for this specific one, since it is the fully loaded SX V6, is $45,815. Now that may seem like a lot of money, but in reality, once you see everything this car has, I can honestly say out of all the vehicles I filmed, I looked at the price tag on this and I said to myself, wow, that's actually not bad. So that's always a good sign. Love this Dark Moss, by the way. There's a good reason they used it on all of the Kia commercials because it looks great. It makes it look more aggressive, makes it look a little bit more bold. I love how when you get closer to the paint, you can see it's got that metallic pearlescent flake to it. And it just does a good job of making this look a little bit more rugged. Then as you come to the front, you've got a very square design language. So you've got that big Kia Tiger Nose grille. This is the biggest version of that design language. And then moving off to the sides, you have your headlights. So I love the stacked headlights. I also love the amber daytime running lights. I think it makes this thing look very bold, real prominent. You definitely cannot miss it driving on the road, like at all. Then when you come down here, you are going to have these vents, which are going to be functional. They flow air around the wheels, so you guys can see that right there. That's going to basically create an air curtain and, in theory, make this more efficient. Coming up to the hood, you've got these deep creases right there. Telluride here on the hood as well. Then as you come to the wheels, you're going to have these 20-inch black wheels with 245/50 Michelin Primacy Tour tires. From a profile, I love the way that these wheels help make the vehicle look. You've got a little bit of like fake chrome down here. Then as you come up here, this is actually going to be aluminum, so this isn't chrome. So if you get a little bit closer, you can tell that it's like brushed aluminum, which is super cool. And I do think that more manufacturers should do that because it does make this vehicle look a lot better. Now moving to the back quarter panel view, love this angle, love the lights. As a matter of fact, all of the lights, the front headlights look great at night. It just looks really prominent, really beautiful. Same with these tail lights. They look great at night. I love the design of them. It almost looks very concept car-like, so it definitely catches a lot of people's attention, and I do think it looks really good. All of your badges, Telluride, SX V6, all-wheel drive, and then you have your dual exhaust down here, which kind of reminds me of like Mercedes-Benz AMG because it has that square setup, but I'll let you guys go ahead and take a listen to that. All right, you guys, hopefully you can see this. Here is your key for the Telluride. It says Kia right there on the side. You're gonna have all of your buttons here, your lock, your unlock, your hatch release, your panic button, and you have a physical key in here to get out if the battery on this dies or if the battery on the Telluride were to die. So you can, of course, get in using this. That will lock and unlock the vehicle. The mirrors do fold in, so if I unlock it, you guys can see mirrors folding out right there. And then you have buttons on the door to help you get in and out. So these buttons, very easy to use. You just push it. It's gonna lock and fold in. Push it again. Unlock and fold out. Real simple. All right, so sitting inside of the Kia Telluride. Now, first of all, shutting the door on the Telluride. It's very, very solid. And it's super quiet. So you guys can hear the sound difference right now. Check this out. So you can probably hear all the birds and everything. And when I shut this door, it's just really quiet. It's crazy. I can whisper in here. It's nuts. Part of that is due to the fact that all of these windows are double pane windows. So you can actually see the filling in between the windows. And it really helps keep everything quiet. And then, of course, I'm sure there's tons of sound deadening and stuff in here as well. Now, foot on the brake and pushing this button to start the car. Starts up really nice. The seat does go to whatever your preset driving position is going to be. And then looking around the cabin, first of all, this cabin is gorgeous. We have the light colored interior. You can also get like a saddle brown interior, and you can get a black interior. I think this one is my preferred choice, though I'm sure keeping it this light colored will be a little bit hard if you have kids or anything like that. And then you're gonna have this wood here. And so this wood is very, very interesting. So it is gonna be fake wood, but it's the realest looking fake wood I have ever seen. So I actually don't mind it because of that. You do have a heads up display that you can see very clearly. You can also change the color. So I have mine set to green. It just makes it a little bit more vivid in my opinion. And it's just real crisp, real clear, and it floats perfectly in the windshield. It's really, really nice. The dash is soft touch, a little bit plush, and it's just super solid, so that's really cool. You have a speaker up here for your Harman Kardon sound system. And speaking of that sound system, I don't usually do this with sound systems just because it's real hard to capture on video, but I'm going to show you guys real quick what this sound system sounds like. So check it out. Okay, so continuing on, now this head unit is very interesting. It does sort of have a tacked on look, but not really. I do like how it almost looks like it sits on the dash, so it has this little, almost like the bottom of a J right here, which is real interesting. It says Harman Kardon right here because that was the sound system you guys just heard. Hopefully you could hear it. Sounds pretty good. And this is, you know, Hyundai Kia's system that they use. It's very intuitive. It's one of the easiest systems to use besides going to like a Tesla or a BMW, anything like that. It is super simplistic. As a matter of fact, I think it's right up there just in its own way. And you have really cool features on here. So three features I really want to go over in specific that I didn't cover in the previous Telluride review are quiet mode, which is this right here. So you turn on quiet mode, and what it does is it only plays through these front speakers, and it doesn't go above volume 7. So what that does is it allows the front passengers to still listen to music while the rear passengers are either sleeping, if there's children back there, or they're reading, or just want to have a quieter ambiance back there. So you do have that. You also have driver talk, which if you're familiar with, let's say, Honda products, they have a similar thing. So basically, front microphone turns on. Hello, hello, hello. And you can hear me through there. So that's pretty cool. And the louder I talk, you can sort of hear that echo right now. And if I turn it off, there you go. So now it's not as echoey in here, so I do apologize. The other thing is adjusting your interior lighting. So not only do you have set presets for your interior illuminations, you can go through a color wheel and actually customize your own color, which is super cool. And the interior lighting here at night looks incredible. As a matter of fact, this entire interior looks incredible at night. It's just very well lit. Everything's very crisp, real vivid, and it's just real easy to see everything that you need to use at night, which is really helpful because it gets pretty dark here where I live in Fort Worth, Texas. Now coming down, once again, more of that wood. You've got your vents. You've got this nice aluminum texture here, which feels pretty real. I can't confirm whether it is or is not real. You have a heated steering wheel down here. I love these rocker switches for your heated and cooled seats, so you guys can see that right there. You also have 2 grab handles, which are pretty solid, wrapped in leather. Push that up, you're going to have a wireless charging pad, USB for Apple CarPlay, so you guys can see Apple CarPlay right here working away. You can have another USB here, a 12 volt, an area to put stuff in. So let's say I have this cap to my lens, I can just set that right there. 2 cup holders, which are great. They can fit like a bottle of water, no issues right there. You can probably even fit something bigger in there as well. Love the shifter. Sounds very, very solid. You throw it into reverse. You have one of the clearest backup cameras I've ever seen. So you have a 360-degree camera, backup camera, you have a trailer hookup, you can see the side views if you're parking on curbs, and then when you're going forward as well, like let's say if you're going to park in a parking space, there's a wall in front of you or there's a pole in front of your parking space, it will actually show you the front camera, which is always a good thing as well. And then of course, put that in park, it goes right away. If I didn't mention, you can also shift this manually, so I throw it over right here and I just shift up and down. It does not have paddle shifters, so that's how you would do that if you so choose. Coming down, you do have your drive mode selects. I love the way this looks. I think it looks very nice. You scroll through, it's got all of your drive modes: snow, eco, comfort, sport, and smart. And then it has a center lock right there that you can turn on if you're going through, let's say, mud, maybe trying to quote unquote rock climb with this thing. Not sure it would be quite capable of doing that, but you never know. So you also have a few more buttons down here. So I'm gonna have my parking brake right there. I'm gonna have my camera view, my parking sensors, my automatic brake hold, and I can turn on and off my automatic start stop. Now I love this armrest, not only because it's just really soft and I can fit 2 people's arms on here easily, but you also have more cup holders back here. Now this is technically going to be for the back row, but I think it's neat that it's so accessible from the front as well. So I thought I'd include that in the front portion. Now as I lift this up, hopefully you guys can see through here. If not, I got some B-roll clips I can throw over. But it's pretty deep, very deep as a matter of fact. Even this cubby is pretty on the deep side, so that is very nice. You even have a USB down there. Lockable glove box right over here, lined in felt, so you won't hear things rattling around. You do have your mirror here, moonroof right there, and then LED lights. So that's pretty much going to be a quick summed up version of the interior. Let's go ahead and hop in the back and we'll check out the room. All right, so sitting in the back seat of the Kia Telluride. I haven't grown any, so it's pretty much the same as the last time I filmed the Telluride. Now I've got about 5 inches behind my set position. So I'm 6 feet tall for reference. This is where I was sitting, and now this is me sitting behind myself. Now you can obviously adjust the seats. I do have it all the way back, but you can also move forwards, backwards, just like that. I do love how you have an armrest here, which is great. It's always nice to have. And the seats can also recline. So they don't recline very, very far back, but it's far enough that I can get very comfortable and take a nap back here if I had to. I can also take advantage of looking at this beautiful skyline. So you have your own moonroof back here. It does not open, but it is just nice to have extra light coming through the cabin. And with this open, with the front moonroof open, everything looks gorgeous back here, and you can really take advantage of great scenery if you are in a place that has great scenery. You do have mat pockets behind each seat, and then you have a USB right here, so you guys can probably see that from there. But you have a little USB here, which is great because, for example, if I have a phone and then I plug in this phone, this is my wife's phone, by the way, so don't judge me for the color, I can still have my phone in my hand while this is plugged in. So that's really, really cool, especially if you're on like an iPad or something like that. It's very convenient. So I do like the placement of that USB. Once again, the cup holders that I mentioned up there, you have a house plug back here, which is great. So let's say if you're on your laptop's about to die, you can plug in your laptop there and then you're good to go. So that is nice. Or anything else. So even if you're a teenage girl and you have to do your hair in the back seat, you can plug in your flat iron, you'll be good to go. The middle area here, like let's say if you need to get back to the third row, it is actually very shallow. So if you need to walk through here, it's shallow enough to get through. So I do really like that. You have some sunscreen shades here, so if you have newborn children and you just bought this vehicle, it's great to protect their very, very sensitive skin when they're infants. So that is nice to have. And of course you have that on both sides, or if you just want a relaxing place to read or be on your phone or computer without having any glare going across your screen, it's a great way to do it. This is also one of the only vehicles I have ever seen that's not like a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW that's like 70, 80 grand, that has heated and cooled seats for both of these second row passengers. I have never seen that in any other vehicle at this price point, or even $15,000 to $20,000 near this price point. It's just very, very impressive. That's pretty much it for the second row. It's very well accommodating. Let's go ahead and hop in the third row and see how that's like. All right, so getting to the third row is very easy. Here's this button, push it, seat slides forward, very easy. Now there's little steps to get into the back. Now once you're back here, it's actually not terrible. Now this seat is reclined right now, so that gives me a little bit more headroom. Being 6 feet tall, I've got like maybe 2 inches, maybe 1.5 inches of headroom actually. So yeah, I'd say about 1.5 to 2 inches. So it's pretty decent for a third row. And if this second row passenger was nice enough to scoot forward just a bit, I'd have plenty of room. I wouldn't like to be in here for like a long road trip, but anything under, let's say, 15 minutes, I think I'd be pretty okay back here. My feet also aren't cramped. They're not shoved under the seat. I can scoot my feet forward and backwards very easily. You have cup holders all back here, so you have 4 cup holders total. You have USB ports for each outboard passenger, and it's pretty well equipped. You got your lights back here. You have vents back here as well, so you're not gonna have to rely on whether or not the second row passengers are going to bless you with air. And yeah, it's just great. The visibility out here is also very, very nice. You've got big windows, so you don't feel like you're in like a cave back here in the third row, which is great. Also, once again, you get a great view of that panoramic roof, and it's pretty much it for this third row. It's decently comfortable. Let's go ahead and check out the trunk. All right, it's coming to the back of the Telluride. Now, first of all, opening the lift gate is very simple. You stand next to the vehicle with stuff in your hands for like 3 seconds. It'll beep a few times, and then it opens automatically. It's one of the most simplistic ways to get into the back of a trunk, especially if you don't have good balance. You don't have to do the leg thing. For some people, that may not even be a good way to open your trunk. So I do like this way of doing it. It's very easy. So once you have the lift gate open, the first thing I do want to mention is, because I am taller, I can actually fit underneath here without hitting my head. So that is very important for taller people. Behind the third row, you have a decent amount of space. I can fit like 2 suitcases back here. And then you have these little straps here. And if I pull these straps, that's going to fold the seats down. And then you have all this room. And then you can also fold the second row down, and at that point you have just a cavernous amount of room back here. It's pretty impressive. And then if you lift up the floor, you've got a really good amount of space underneath here, so that's very impressive. Other thing to talk about is, if you want to fold down the second row electronically, there is a button right over here to the left side. You push those buttons, that's going to fold the seats down, and then you don't have to go all the way around just to fold down a seat. But that's pretty much it for the back room. If you guys want exact cubic feet, you can see it here on the screen. So let's go ahead and see what's under the hood. All right, so under the hood of the Telluride, you have a naturally aspirated 3.8 liter V6. It's gonna make 291 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. Now this is paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now as standard, this is front-wheel drive, but because this is the top-level trim, it is going to be all-wheel drive. Now this does have that locking center diff like I showed you guys earlier, so that is nice to have that. But for the most part, it's just, you know, a big naturally aspirated V6. So for those of you that like the smooth feeling of a V6, no turbos, no superchargers, technically less things to go wrong, this is a great way to go, and I think it was a good option, at least for the launch of the car. I do hope to see something like the twin turbo V6 from the Stinger eventually being offered in something like this. I think it'd be really, really cool, and it would really take this vehicle, in my opinion, to just right into that luxury department and just really make it a quality offering. It's still good with the V6, but I do think that would make it a little bit better. Now, if you guys want the fuel economy figures, you can see them here on the screen. So they're pretty average for the class. It's nothing too special, but I guess you can't expect much from a big boxy vehicle and a naturally aspirated V6. So let's go ahead and get this on the road and see how it does. All right, so driving the Kia Telluride. I do apologize for this view, by the way. It's not my normal. I usually use my GoPro, but it's been acting funny, so I resorted to my camera. So the audio and everything may be a little bit different. But coming around this corner here, you know, the Telluride isn't meant to be a handling vehicle by any means. And that's perfectly okay. And this is one of those vehicles where it's okay to drive right at the speed limit because it's just so smooth, it's so effortless, it's so comfortable, and you just don't mind going at a slower pace. You almost want to like leave a few minutes earlier, that way you can take your time getting there. It's one of those vehicles, and it's a joy to be in just from an everyday standpoint. So if you're watching this, you're a single guy, you're probably gonna look at this, think it's junk, and there's no reason that you would ever buy this. Totally understandable. If I had the money and I was not married, I wouldn't be looking at something like this. I'd be looking like at the new C8 Corvette or just something else that's within this price range. So you really have to watch this video and look at it from the standpoint of circumstance. So my circumstance, me being married, my wife and I aspiring to start building a family within the next few years, this is an appealing vehicle, and a lot of the features appeal to that future side of Forrest. So in that perspective, this is a fantastic machine. It drives so well, it's so quiet, and with having my wife here with me whenever she drives with me throughout the week, she really likes this car. Now, a lot of you actually asked for my wife's opinion on this vehicle, so she did not want to be in front of the camera by any means, so she did give me her thoughts on this vehicle. She said she likes it. There's not a lot of vehicles that impress her. This really does impress her. Once again, you gotta remember our situation, our circumstance. And honestly, for the price, the price point on this thing is not bad at all. So like I said, priced at around $46,000. This is quite a bargain for what you're getting. And usually when you hear the word bargain, it relates to being a little bit cheaper in quality. It relates to being not as good as, and that's not the case with this. This is incredible quality. It rides just so well. This rides about as silky smooth as some of the Cadillacs I've been in, and that's not even a joke. So if you're scoffing at that, don't, because if you have not driven this, you cannot say a word to me, because this thing drives so incredibly well. It's pretty ridiculous. Looking around the cabin, you have tons of windows here, so visibility is not an issue. I also love how this has the cameras whenever you blink left and right. I actually do not remember that on my drive of the Telluride when I flew out to Colorado. They may have added that recently, but that is an incredible feature. It's so vivid, so clear. I love that. Heads-up display is great when you're driving during the day. It looks so crisp. It just floats there very well. And when you're on the road, it's a good thing to have for sure. It shows you all of your blind spot. It shows you what speed you're going, what the speed limit is, what your cruise control is set to. It shows you everything. That's pretty much going to wrap up my review of the Kia Telluride. I hope you guys enjoyed this different perspective. If you did, be sure to give me a huge thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.